Great existence, Nicholas Jensen Denton here, JD's Pharmacopoeia, in the lab, currently extracting, working, and praying ora et labora, as the alchemist of the ages used to say. Now, today I've got ashwagandha. This is the plant medicine of the day. If we can get a little focus on here, maybe. Come on, camera, I know you can do it. Plant medicine of the day, number 3, ashwagandha. There it is, Withania somnifera. Now, that's a Latin word. Somnifera actually means sleep-inducing. If you watch Plant Medicine number 2, you know how crazy I am about sleep. But it's interesting because it's kind of a misnomer in that sense. I don't know what scientist named it, but there's a lot more going on than just putting you to sleep, though it does do that, and I think that's a very important takeaway as well. But if I can get right down into it, ashwagandha has been used for over 6,000 years in Indian alchemy, known as Ayurveda, as a rasayana. Now, a rasayana is a tool, doesn't always have to be a plant, though it typically is a plant. Rasayana is simply a practice one uses to lengthen their lifespan, to enhance their vitality, to promote their usefulness. Rasayana actually means like a mineral or a metal. So there are different areas of medicine within the Vedanta, within the Vedic tradition, which uses all sorts of natural preparations. Now, ashwagandha, very famous because ashwa means the power of a horse, and it invigorates you. But this is another one of them natural energies that taps you into the flow. It's specifically known to balance the chakras. Now, if you're not familiar with the chakras, they are the 7 fundamental foundational energy centers of the body. Now, in truth, there's like chakras everywhere. Atoms are chakras, truly. And we might as well call atoms chakras, because people think atoms come from like looking under a microscope. That's not true. It's theological in origin. Atum. Okay, some Christian thought of this is what I'm trying to say. And regardless, that's kind of besides the point. I'm wasting my 5 minutes here. I'm trying to tell you everything I can possibly tell you in like as short amount of time as possible, so that I don't waste your time, but I get the information across. I'm still wasting time with phatic language. All right, ashwagandha. Sleep-inducing, vitality, rejuvenating. It is an exceptional nervine. It means it relaxes your nervous system. It's an adaptogen. It exerts normalizing functions on the body. It enhances your longevity. It rejuvenates your physiology. Okay. Rasayana, they use these on the path of essence, which basically means spirituality in Hinduism, and it leads one through balancing their root chakra, which is the first lowest one. You can imagine these things. Chakra, I believe, means disc actually, or something like wheel. And so what you got is a gear, is the way I see it, that is at the bottom in your sacred space, which turns, and it turns these other gears, these 6 others that are sitting on top of it, that ultimately are the metaphysical constructs creating your experience, your phenomenologically obvious experience. And what happens when one of these chakras comes out of gear? It starts to slip, right? And then a little slip down at the bottom creates some crazy action up at the top. And so it's very important that in the spiritual traditions that we are focusing on these chakras through a stepwise fashion, and that we take the one and then we perfect it, we understand it, we learn it, we move to the next one, we move to the next one. You don't just jump straight into calculus 2, right? You got to take algebra first. And so essentially, if you're not familiar with the Ayurvedic alchemy, very similar goals as to European alchemy. That is to realize yourself as, dare I say, the G-D, your Atman as Brahman, as you being a microcosmic fractal emanation of the one true source of life, God, if we will. So, it's a crazy plant genetically speaking because it comes from the Solanaceae family, which is the nightshade family. And there's a lot of powerful, very powerful herbs that come out of the nightshade family. I mean, first of all, very useful herbs, like a very broad spectrum is what I'm trying to say. We got tomatoes in there, potatoes, peppers, very commonly bought grocery store foods that have acted as a scaffold for further genetic engineering for us to create a bunch of stuff that we eat on a regular basis. But it also has legendary, sacred, shamanic, hallucinogenic, psychedelic, spiritually expanding medicines, Atropa belladonna, Deuterostromnium, Hysocosames niger, Scopolia carniolica. These are some herbs I've never even heard of, and I have no idea how to pronounce. I'm not Latin. I'm not a Roman or whatever, wherever they were speaking this language. But the point I'm trying to make is, where does 6 minutes, I'm over time, all right, 3 minutes max. The point I'm trying to make is that, where does ashwagandha fall in the balance of all this, like these useful, life-changing daily herbs? It's somewhere right in the middle, because it's an adaptogen, okay? So it's got these tropine alkaloids, these tropanes, cuscohydrines, these alkaloids, which again are taxonomically restricted to certain plants, and they have been known to enhance your sociability. They've been known to produce their GABA mimetic, meaning basically they enhance neurogenesis by they expand the dendrites. It's actually incredible, because we talk about expanding consciousness and stuff all the time. Like, it literally sends out tendrils of nervous brain material further into your brain. Now, I for one feel like enlightenment is simply learning more about yourself, and that's exactly what we're seeing here with these cognitive enhancing effects, which are derived from the metabolization of withanosides like summonone, withanone, withanolide A. I don't want to bore you with boring lists and litanies of words that don't mean anything to you, but basically I'm listing off a bunch of chemicals that have a bioactive and synergetic effect with the human being. Also, I should note, full disclosure here, I got kicked out of the Marine Corps for taking pharmaceutical drugs. And not a great look. I know that now. But the drug in hand was lorazepam, and it's an anti-anxiety medicine. And it's been shown that Withania somnifera has, in multiple double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical level trials, that its anxiety eliminating effects are significantly higher than the lorazepam, which could be, I think, a very useful tidbit of information for a lot of people out there. Likewise, the same mechanism through which it reduces your anxiety also relieves pain, which lends to its narcotic-like effects. It can be a sedative in that it relaxes your nervous system, and maybe I need some of that too, but because I've been getting the vigor from it for sure. However, it basically mimics a lot testosterone and estrogen in the body, and so it really, I believe, brings in a balancing effect, helps you become more of you, and at the same time, I mean, there's people who it revitalizes your nervous system. Your nervines are is spread throughout your whole body, and that's like the most essential finicky part of the body. It's an electrical system that works off electrical impulses. There are documented cases of people curing lung cancer, curing different forms of cancer through solely ashwagandha treatments. Have I met these people? No. Is it in the scientific literature? Yes. Could that possibly be flawed? Yes. The point I'm trying to make is that maybe the Indians, like the real Indians from India, maybe they were right, and that this thing can restore your youthfulness restore your vitality, rejuvenate your body, and bring you into a greater state of who and what you truly are. It's also immunomodulating, often used in adjunct with chemotherapy, radiotherapy, has very strong anti-cancer effects. It fights tumors. I already told you that. I'm just making sure I got everything. It's used as an aphrodisiac. It's a little bit diuretic. But basically, we're talking anti-stress. We're talking internal balance between your physical and your mental being. And according to some scientists, it's essential. So I think that's all I have to say for it. Check out Ashwagandha with Ania Somnifera. The link in the description. You can learn more. You can buy. Hit me up to stock your plant medicine apothecary. I graduated school, so now I'm like doing it professionally. And I'm trying to make some money out here. I know it's a weird thing, trying to make money selling medicines, but I've also always seen it as a revolutionary thing. That's just me. That's where I'm coming from. God bless you all. Thank you for joining me here. Have a grand existence.